I'll call a meeting to order for December 18th, 2024. Roll call members, please.
General,
Here.
Kai, here, leaders, here, we'll show that Anderson and Berger are absent.
We all had a chance to read the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes or make corrections?
Move to approve.
Second. Been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Now I'll read our opening statement. The public hearing will be conducted pursuant to the board's rules of procedure as adopted May 26, 1988. First, here we will hear the report of the planning director on detailed information and observations regarding the request, if not done so in written form prior to the hearing. Next, we will take the testimony of the applicant and his or her witnesses. Upon completion of the applicant's testimony, I'll call upon members of the audience wishing to make a statement concerning the request. Persons in favor of the request shall be heard first, followed by those who oppose it. At any time during the presentation of testimony, the members of the board may interrupt to ask questions or make comments on what has been said. Upon completion of all testimony, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to the board. Upon completion of the applicant of the closing statement, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the request. After the public hearing has been closed, we will then hear the recommendation, if any, of the planning director, and upon the completion of all discussion, I will entertain a motion of the members of the board regarding the disposition of the application. Each speaker addressing the board shall step forward to the podium, state the name and address before proceeding with their testimony or evidence. I would ask that you spell your last name. This board shall not be bound by strict rules of evidence, does reserve the right to exclude evidence or testimony that may deem to be irrelevant, immaterial, incompetent, or unduly repetitious. As chairman, I will rule on all questions relating to the miscibility of evidence, which may be overturned by the majority of the board. The board may grant continuances in a case for good cause shown to any interested party who has entered his appearance. The board may at any time request a continuance of a hearing for the purpose of giving further notice, taking further evidence, gathering further information, touring the proposed site, or for any such reason the board may find sufficient. In such case, you will state a specific reason for the continuance and set a date, time, and place when the matter will be continued. All official actions of the board will be made at public hearing by motion made, seconded, and polling of the membership. If conditions are imposed, such conditions shall be included in the motion or amended hereto. Our final decision will be prepared in writing and will be part of the public record of the board. Once this board has reached a decision on a case, that decision shall be final. Section 335.18 of the Iowa Code states, any person or persons, jointly or severally, aggravated by any decision of the Board of Adjustment under the provisions of Chapter 335, or any taxpayer or any officer, department, board, or bureau of the county, may present to the Board of Record a petition duly verified, setting forth that such decision was illegal in whole or in part, specifying the ground of the legality. Such petition shall be presented to the court within 30 days after the filing of the decision of the office of the board.
Make a motion to open public hearing for case number ZV-2024-08.
So moved in second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Public hearing is now open. Mike Winter, would you like to come to the podium? Please spell your last name.
Michael Winter, Winter. I represent the party, asking for the variance, DC Housing Solutions, Inc., and their president, Dan Clare. He's here with me. I attached a deed to our appeal that shows that my client acquired this property by warranty deed on May 2nd, 2022. At the time that he acquired the property, there was an existing house that had had a fire. We were here once before appealing the ruling of your chief, what do you call it? Chief planning director.
The determination, you appeal
Yeah.
the determination of the planning director.
Anyway, now we're here asking for a variance. This property is located on Highway 59, and when you abut a highway, you have to be a setback of 75 feet. The residence that he's trying to rebuild is closer than 75 feet. I don't know how much closer But before you rule on our appeal, I would like at least one of you to go out and view the property because it has a unique terrain. This house sits 20 or more feet above the highway. For somebody to crash into this house, they'd have to go up a 20-foot embankment to even get to the house. So I don't think you can even see the house from the highway. Now, I know it's irrelevant, but I'm going to say it anyway. There are 3 houses that are located to the south, 2 on the east and 1 on the west, or vice versa, that are the same distance from the highway as ours. But that's not something you can consider because I took the time to read your ordinance. We have to prove that we qualify for a variance under the provisions of 8.096.030 of the county ordinances. So, and we have to show that we comply with, or we fall under A through J of that ordinance. A says that it's necessary to alleviate a demonstrable hardship or difficulty so great as to warrant a variance. He's rebuilding a house that was in the same location as it is now. And we feel that it would be a hardship to move the foundation, which he saved, and move it farther away from the highway. That just wouldn't be practical. B, it says, we're not merely here to serve as a convenience to the applicant. Well, we're not here for his convenience. We're here because we think it's created a hardship, and we think that you wouldn't be violating any ordinances by allowing this variance. C, it says we will not impair the general purpose and intent of the regulations and provisions contained in this ordinance. We don't think we impair those. D, it says will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties. There's no property that you can see from this property, so you certainly wouldn't be violating that. There's no neighbors right next door. It says we will not increase the hazard from fire and other damages to said property. Well, certainly we don't fall under that exception. We will not diminish the value of land and buildings in the county. Certainly, if anything, he will improve the value of this property, increase its tax value, and bring in more revenue to the county once he finishes reconstructing this house that had been damaged by fire. We will not increase the congestion and traffic hazards on public roads. Certainly, granting this variance won't cause any problems in that regard. We will not otherwise impair the public health, safety, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the county. Well, that's ridiculous. There's no way this could possibly impair the public health. And I suppose that you could say if he's too close to the highway, maybe he's presenting a danger that somebody could strike this out. But as I told you, you've got to go up a 20-foot embankment or higher to even get to this house. And that's why I insist that somebody look at the property before you summarily rule against us or for us. You need to look at it. Somebody does. It's not based on the non-conforming use of neighboring lands and structures. So under I, that means that just because some of the neighbors are in the same distance from the highway, that doesn't make any difference to you. And I'm not asking that it should. I mention it just for information that there are 3 other properties, but that's not relevant in making your final decision. And finally, it will not under any circumstances allow a use not permissible under the terms of the ordinance in the district involved, or any use expressly or by implication prohibited by the terms of this ordinance in said district. I'm not sure what that means. You will not under any circumstances allow a use not permissible under the terms of this ordinance. That seems to say that if you're closer than 75 feet, you can't grant a variance under any circumstances, but I don't believe that's what they intended. Certainly, if you have the right to allow a variance, it's going to be different than the setbacks required by the ordinance. So I'd like to show you a picture of what the property looked like before he bought it. If you'd pass that around. And you can't see the embankment in that picture. you'd have to go out and look at it. If you stood on the highway, you'd have to look up and you wouldn't be able to see this house because it's so far up off of the traveled portion of the highway. So taking those into account, I think we qualify for a variance under the terms of your zoning ordinance. I'm not going to waste any more of your time, but I wish that somebody in this panel would go look at the property before you rule. Thank you. Do you want to say anything, Dan?
I think you pretty well covered it, Mike.
At this time, if there's anybody who would speak for or opposed, please come to the podium. No one? This time I would ask for a motion to close public hearing.
Close public hearing.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carried. Public hearing is closed. Staff's recommendations.
Well, first, I suppose I should ask, we have in the past gone out and toured properties. Is that something that the board wants to do in this instance? With ours, we looked at kind of the same things that Mr. Winter pointed out, and our recommendation is to deny the application for the variance on there. But, the board certainly can, before they make the determination, go out, set time to go out and tour the property and check out the view of it. There is that topography. I've been out by the site several times, and there is some topography to that site, definitely.
You confirm what I told them, right? That it's above the highway.
Yes,
I guess I don't need to, but if anyone else thinks they would like to.
What's that?
I don't need to recess for that. Oh.
I say, I've been by the property many times, so I'm familiar with it. Just trying to see if I can.
I think we're good there, Matt, for the meeting.
okay.
You extended anything for that, so. You want to read your recommendations, or you? is
Well, that was it.
Okay.
Our recommendation would be to deny the application on there.
When I pull it up on homes.com, this is the picture I get.
Yeah,
It's the front of the property, but there just happened to be a nice
Cute.
Mustang driving past the property whenever.
Yeah.
I thought you
this
took a picture of
was
the
taken.
car.
But you can see that there's a bank in front of the
Right.
property, so which I'm familiar with. I've driven by it, so
Right.
that's just, I think that's funny that part's in that
it's a
picture.
nice picture of the property, yeah.
I was just trying to see if I could find any historical pictures, because sometimes you can go on here and find that. I was just seeing if we could find any historical pictures that might show the elevation of the.
It wouldn't make sense to have a board of adjustment if all you're going to do is follow the recommendations of the planning director. In each case, you're here to,
We're,
Oh,
public
they
hearing
don't.
is closed, so it's,
all right,
Yeah.
you had your, answer, but, is there any other discussion on the numbers on the things here? Would like to make the motion, I guess, we're looking for the 25-foot variance, so that's what the setback is from the road, so. Right.
Make a motion to deny the request for variance.
We have a second.
Well, I'll do a second just so we can move the motion.
Okay. Moved in second, roll call vote.
So leaders,
No,
Kai,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes. Accordingly, motion for the application was denied. So, thank you for your time today.
All right.
Any other business, Matt? Or
No other business for the board tonight.
do they have the meeting for next January? Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it. I guess I'd ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Moved and adjourned, or moved in. On favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.